earthvox podcast. The earthvox podcast. earthvox podcast.
I went to the Gabby Dollhouse movie. That's right, because I have kids and they're a really big fan of Gabby's Dollhouse. And I love my kids, so I would naturally take them to see it. I need to check my audio here before I turn my camera on. Everything sounds good, thank heavens. The exciting technical difficulty that we're experiencing today is my light is out. As you can see, it's not actually out. It's green for some reason. So that's exciting. Another thing to fix and or replace. I think actually what happened is that if you go way back in the catalog, you may find a moment where I realized that water was dripping from my ceiling. And I think that is how the light got damaged, because I think I've been able to determine that it's something with some kind of trouble, bad connection, glitch in the buttons, which would explain my hypothesis as to how it actually got damaged. Welcome to the show. We are barely pulling it off. Sunday at 11 a.m. every week, mostly every week. Every week, unless something crazy happens, like a camping trip. And then it might be at 1 o'clock. But you can always find the audio later in the week by Monday morning. Sometime it goes live sometime Sunday afternoon, depending on how difficult the post-production process is. And we're streaming live on X and Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch for your viewing pleasure. And the audio version, as I mentioned, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Overcast and Podbean and all those other wonderful audio podcast platforms, audio-only podcast platforms, I should say. So take a moment, hit the like button, subscribe to the show for free, leave me a nice rate and review if you wouldn't mind, and if you feel so inclined, I wrote myself a note to consider plugging the voicemail, where you can contact me at 701-787-1121. That'd be cool. I'd appreciate it. Ask me a question. We'll talk about it. Provide me some external content. Why not? So I went to the Gabby Dollhouse movie. I saw people saying that it was, quote unquote, ass. I don't know if I agree with that. It's not for me. It's for my kids. That's why I went. Let's watch the trailer.
It's a new day.
We're taking a trip to spend the week with my grandma.
A new adventure.
Buckle up, Gabby Cats. It's time to go.
Here we go.
Do you want to come to Cat Francisco with us? Let's do it.
Cat Francisco.
We're here.
And the dollhouse. It's all about the dollhouse, which I've been asked to provide as a Christmas present for multiple seasons.
Everyone, lean left. The other left, baby box.
I'm learning so much today.
Honestly, I can't believe they turned this into a movie.
Malena,
But it had Kristen Wiig. She was marvelous. She's very talented in a kind of quiet sleeper sort of
Seriously, lady, what is wrong
unexpected
with you?
way or unanticipated.
This
dollhouse will complete my cat collection. Add 2 cards.
The welcome addition to the series. And also, I didn't find this out until yesterday.
It's time to get tiny.
Gloria Estefan
We'll leave them the planet.
plays Gabby's grandmother.
You can come.
How long has it been since we heard from Gloria Estefan? I mean, I don't even know. I'm not an expert in this. I was thinking about having my kids come down to tell you all about, what they thought of it, if it was a good movie, what their favorite part was. But then I was in the shower for too long, and I only had 10 minutes left to go, and no time for rehearsal, and didn't really want to put their faces on the internet, even though, I mean, how can you really avoid it at this point?
Fakey got fakey.
But it was fine. It was a nice time with my family. It wasn't really about the movie. I only bring it up because
I'm really trying to destroy the universe right now.
aside from just being able to prove that I was out in the real world, I'm happy to report nothing woke or gay or even questionable, if I remember correctly. Because I'm always wary. I'm always wary of that kind of stuff because clearly the left is coming after the kids. And if you aren't aware of that, you haven't been paying attention. So allow me to enlighten you. Which we'll talk about. Netflix was in the news for good reason, but I was pleasantly surprised. Nothing even questionable. No male characters holding hands, no allusions to an obvious homosexual relationship, it's for the parents, right? That's why that stuff's in there. To make you mad about it, to make you worried, to force you into having uncomfortable and unwelcomed and poorly timed conversations with your children about alternative sexuality things that have no business taking up space in their 5-year-old brains. And it's not like this is a new phenomenon. This has been going on for a while. But the mainstream has discovered the attack, or it's become more obvious, or should I say it was discovered by Elon Musk. Either way, Netflix is canceled. This headline from Yahoo Finance: Netflix stock logs biggest weekly drop since April, as Elon Musk calls for users to cancel subscriptions. I'm just a little bit perplexed about why this is all coming out now. We knew about Netflix. We knew about Cuties. Their weird pedophilic show about, I don't even remember what it was about. Pageant kids. I got to remember now. That was when I first canceled my Netflix subscription. Hopefully we don't see any personal information. The rundown on the Netflix website reads, 11-year-old Amy starts to rebel against her conservative family's traditions when she becomes fascinated with a free-spirited dance crew. Yeah. That's when I canceled Netflix.
Now that we can have more complicated.
But then I brought it back because I thought, oh, well, maybe they learned their lesson. Maybe they're not going to, maybe they're going to back off it. Maybe they're going to back off the weird woke stuff. Maybe the population has made its message clear that we're not gonna take it. And some of this stuff from these videos that I'm about to play you has been around for a while. And I've been warily watching and carefully protecting my children from the tragic content coming through the screen. And I went back and forth. Do I want to cancel it again? I learned that you can go in and block specific shows for specific profiles so that your kids can't get in there and watch weird things. Because, of course, the adult content is restricted, but that's where the problem is. They're putting what I consider to be adult content into children's shows. And that's the problem that I have. It's not that my kids are going to find out about gay relationships. It's not that they're going to find out about people being trans. It's how insidiously it is injected into their TV programs to, in my opinion, deliberately confuse them. Because when a human being is a child, they are most closely identifying with children of their same gender or sex, whichever word you want to use. I'm so confused about this all the time because it's what gender is a construct and sex is the real thing, and gender was only invented 50 years ago by some wacko that wanted to create confusion to bring us to this chaotic perspective on sexuality that we now have to attempt to shield our children from. So live on the show right now, I'm canceling my Netflix subscription. And if you're watching the video, I'm sharing the screen and I'm doing it live. It is canceled. My wife will be notified by email. And good. It's interesting because you can see their stock has been crashing and dipped considerably when Elon Musk went on X and told everyone to cancel their subscriptions because of how obviously corrupt and depraved some of these programs are. This is from the Babysitters Club, which my kids like watching.
It took a while, but we finally found a file for a daily Del Vecchio.
Oh, now I've done it. My mouse works great on this computer for some reason. We're still sharing, thank goodness, and here we go.
It took a while, but we finally found a file for a daily Del Vecchio. Is 32 Burnhill Road still the current address? Yeah. Have you been giving him fluids? If he's dehydrated, we'll need to place an IV.
So it looks like there's a little girl laying on the bed, but the nurse keeps saying he. Scandalous.
Have him change into this. Well.
I hear as soon as I
He doesn't want a blue one because he's not a little boy.
feeling well. Let's take a look at the little man.
And the kid's like maybe 9 years old, laying on the hospital bed, looking very disturbed by the fact that the doctors are using the wrong pronouns.
Can I please talk to you two outside?
Now the older big sister is going to get involved and really straighten him out.
I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by treating her like one, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel insignificant and humiliated. And that's not going to help her feel good or safe or calm. So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is. And if at all possible, could you find me a non-blue hospital gown?
Always.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We'll get on that right away because that's the most important. That's the most important shit, right? That you play into the fantasies of confused children. Yeah. Moving on. This is what I think Elon Musk saw, or was at least made aware of, that created the outrage initially, followed by more clips of extremely, we'll just say, questionable content. This show is called Dead End Paranormal Park, advertised for 7-year-olds.
It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney, and I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent today chased by terrifying zombie mascots. Pugsley reminded me how important it is to live your life without apology. So I think I gotta give living here a shot. Don't you?
You don't need my permission. I just wouldn't want Courtney as a roommate. We'll be the best of friends.
I think it's really ironic that he, she, whatever, talks about being uncomfortable that everybody knows. Everybody knows about their weird alternative sexuality, as if that's not what 90% of the left wants. Attention for their weird alternative sexuality. That's why they have parades, right? Because they're ashamed and they just want to keep it private and they want everybody to leave them alone. No. They love the attention, which points to the mental illness aspect of the conversation. I don't think everyone that is trans is mentally ill, but I think a lot of people that claim to be trans are mentally ill on multiple fronts. And the attention seeking is a big part of that. It's a big indicator. More gay shit in the Transformers children's show. Transformers Earthspark, a show for children on Netflix, also promotes the use of made-up pronouns.
Of course. Morgan, can you switch,
Nightshade's pronouns are they, them.
He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
My apologies. Please switch their piece. Now, the plan. Of course.
Yep, completely unrelated to the plot. This was shared on top of what I believe is another
dangerous or not.
clip from the same show.
Place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not.
That's true, though disappointing.
Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always
So
knew my
your children are
pronouns
being
felt right,
opened up
but
to predators that will also claim that they're non-binary because they learned on Transformers
wonderful experience.
that they can trust other non-binary people, just like their friends, because they're safe with other non-binary people who really understand them. And finally, from another show that my children liked to watch at one point, I regret to inform, Jurassic Park, Camp Cretaceous.
Oh, we made it. Woo! All I want now is a cool shower. But first, yes, you were trying to tell me something before. Earlier in the lift, before the Noctosaurus went all crazy, it seems super important. It was. Honey, I'm falling for you.
Two girls talking here. Suddenly alone by themselves in the forest after making a triumphant escape.
Like, hard. Real hard. I know. I heard you earlier. I just wanted to hear you say it again because I've been wanting to hear you say that since I don't even know when.
And the kiss. Passionate embrace. And all the other kids are really excited about it. And then the teacher comes up to find out what's going on.
Nothing. Maybe we should go.
Sorry, it wasn't another teacher. It was another student.
Yes! You are finally official!
You know, I tried to give you a moment. You were nosy.
And you said there were no perfect moments.
And now a little picture for social media. And the cat in the background where this person recorded this clip using their phone from their TV.
Guys, it's the perimeter drone. They're here.
And we're right back into the main plot of the show. We just had to take a quick pause to inject a gay relationship. And we're off again. That's Jurassic Park, Camp Cretaceous, or Camp Crugacious. So Cancel Netflix was actually trending on social media. And their stock price crashed pretty hard. I mean, we figured it out. We figured out what they were trying to do in the same way that we figured out what the schools were doing to them. When everybody had to do remote learning during COVID. Now we found out that Netflix is basically guilty of the same thing. And now they're finding out. Most recent numbers show that they've lost $20 billion in value. And the thing is, these canceled subs are still active. My Netflix subscription is still good until the 20th, October 20th. 15 more days. So when those canceled subscriptions start actually dropping off of Netflix's active subscriber count, we could see the stock price tank even further. It's just so upsetting. I want my kids to enjoy their programs. Instead, I have to worry about evil people trying to corrupt them. Explain that conversation to your children, or have a conversation with your children about that phenomenon. Sorry, sweetie. There's evil demonic people that want to corrupt your mind, and they're doing it through the TV shows that you watch. So, sorry, no more Netflix. Tell me how that doesn't make Dad sound like a bad guy. But that's really what we're living through right now, right? Everybody's mad at their dad, figuratively speaking. Because the adults are back. Daddy's back in office. And all of the children, again, figuratively speaking, are mad because Daddy's laying the law down. The party's over. The gravy train is over. Now we're going to get back, the American government is going to get back to serving the people. Thanks to Daddy Trump. And all the kids in Congress and the Senate are really pissed off about it. Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth recently got the generals together and told them that we're done with DEI. He called them fat. He told them they should be ashamed of themselves. He told them that we're going to start respecting the institution of the military again. And of course, the left was outraged and staged more videos showing presumed members of the military voicing their displeasure. Then they tried to frame a SOCOM commander as resigning over his discontent with leadership when he had actually been in the process of retiring for 3 months. They did the same thing when Hegseth was appointed SecDef. Injected all these videos of soldiers who could have been anyone in actuality. But they do this because they want the message of mutiny out amongst the soldiers. Like, oh, we're mad we got to cut our beards. We're mad we can't have long eyelashes. We're mad we can't be openly trans. We're mad that we can't focus our energy and attention into all of these wacky leftist irrelevant practices. We have to get back to things like being in shape, being well trained, being prepared to take to the streets and defend the public from Antifa. Eric Doherty writes on X, breaking, President Trump reveals that the National Guard is ready to pummel Antifa in Portland. They're officially in place. Quote, our great federal law enforcement officers have not been able to enforce the laws in Oregon. This is from Donald Trump's Truth Social post. Antifa and the radical left anarchists have been viciously attacking our federal law enforcement officers, men and women who are simply doing their job, protecting federal property and enforcing federal immigration laws and the rule of law. We will never allow mobs to take over our streets, burn our cities, or destroy America. The National Guard is now in place and has been dedicated to restoring law and order and ending the chaos, death, and destruction. We are a nation of law and we will prevail. Thank you for your attention to this matter, as he likes to sign off. Pretty crazy. It's going down in Memphis and Chicago too. Trump also has his eye on other cities as well. But the craziest part about this Portland thing is how the Portland police are responding. It was revealed this week that, in my opinion, Portland police are basically Antifa, as we knew it would become. Defund the police, spread anti-police propaganda, making all the good cops quit so that they could bring in the communist lapdogs. It's right out of the Marxist playbook. That's what Portland Police Chief Bob Day is, a communist lapdog, or worse. We're not going to harp on this for too long, but True Patriot Voice writes on X, this explains why Portland is harboring Antifa. Portland Police Chief Bob Day owns Reluctant Change, a consulting firm offering workshops and keynotes on leadership, navigating change, and DEI topics, among others. And he was just appointed, or not just appointed, but he was appointed permanent chief of police for Portland by Ted Wheeler, the Portland mayor, who is also basically Antifa himself, allegedly. I mean, where do you draw the line? They're calling him the head of Antifa in Portland, Bob Day and Ted Wheeler. And the officers are arresting journalists. They're arresting journalists covering the chaos and letting the terrorists who assault the journalists run back to their safe house. This is what happened to Katie Daviscourt. Officer Lou writes, the Antifa individual who assaulted journalist Katie Daviscourt was not arrested by the Portland Police Department, while journalist Nick Sorter was arrested by the Portland Police Department. So the Department of Justice has launched an investigation. because this is egregious. And here's the report from Fox News and Nick Sorter.
We did talk to Nick pretty much minutes after he was released from jail this morning. So we asked him what went down last night. What he told us is he was out here filming protesters as they were getting maced by federal agents. And he said it was a little embarrassing for the protesters because they were shrieking and crying about having the mace in their eyes. So they didn't like being recorded. So they kind of chased him down the street a little bit, then surrounded him and pushed him down into a flower bed. He says they then punched and assaulted him, and he tried to defend himself. Take a listen.
So they threw multiple punches at me. They broke my camera by hitting that. So I was on the ground at that point. I tried to swing. I missed. I saw the opportunity to get up and get away. And that's when I went over to the police officers, which I thought, maybe they'd help me. But no, instead they threw me in handcuffs. This is going to backfire on them tremendously. It already is. Okay. People knew that something out here stunk and that it was corrupt and that the police they take the side of the violent criminals that are here every single day, assaulting ICE officers, assaulting journalists. And then a reporter comes and, tries to embed deep within the chaos that's going in out here, and he's the one that gets arrested.
And Nick went on to say he got a personal phone call from Attorney General Pam Bondi informing him that DOJ is launching a full investigation into the Portland Police Bureau in relation to his arrest out here last night. But it doesn't stop there. DHS also giving their reaction to this, announcing that as a result of this arrest, DHS is going to be surging CBP and ICE here to Portland. And the city of Portland was already unhappy with how much ICE was out here in the first place. All of this happening in the context that the National Guard is being deployed out here. They just haven't shown up yet, guys. We'll send it back to you.
He's really fortunate.
And the responses that these people are getting from the journalists and the victims of this Antifa violence are getting from the police officers when they ask them, hey, why? There he goes, running off to his safe house. Why aren't you following them? Why aren't you arresting? Oh, it's too dangerous, they say. It's too dangerous. We can't put ourselves at risk. So we're going to arrest you instead because, well, we got to arrest somebody. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted her appearance on Brianna Morello's show. She writes on X, Antifa riots in Portland with no consequences. While Nick Sorter tries to put out the fire on the American flag, the police arrest him. I introduced legislation to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. President Trump's executive order is strong, but we must pass my bill to codify it into law and make it permanent. I fully support the DOJ's investigation into the Portland Police Bureau for protecting Antifa instead of protecting the American people. Let's watch some of the video.
Your reaction to Portland police arresting Nick Sorter?
Well, it's absolutely outrageous. And I was watching the video clip that you played just before you brought me on before the commercial break, where it shows Nick actually taking the burning American flag and stomping it out. And this is an executive order that the president signed that you cannot burn the American flag. So it's extremely wrong that the Portland police arrested Nick Sorter instead of Antifa, who were the ones that were burning the American flag. And Brianna, what needs to happen is the Department of Justice needs to come in hard on the city of Portland with an open a major investigation into Nick Sorter, an independent journalist who was arrested. You talk about, that's something we see in communist countries. Journalists get arrested in communist countries and they allow anarchy and communism to reign. And Portland has done that. They have partnered with the National Lawyers Guild, which is responsible for bailing out Antifa over and over again as they have attacked the government and attacked law enforcement officers. And I do believe that Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization, and I have high expectation of Trump's Department of Justice of coming down hard on Portland and coming down hard on the police that arrested Nick Sorter.
Are they really a domestic terrorist organization, though? when they have no doubt illegal immigrants in their midst, when they're no doubt being funded by foreign entities? Looking at you, China. Or is it foreign enemies insurrecting on our own soil? And what's the answer? They're well funded. They have a team of lawyers. Is it starting to feel like it's the world against America? The world against the Western world? What are the factions? I think there's probably 3 factions that are vying for control of the population, the entire world. And they might be religious factions. This, of course, will require deep investigation and contemplation. But back to Portland. From the Hill, the Justice Department launches investigation into Portland police. The Department of Justice is investigating, oh, for crying out loud. The ads on thehill.com are unbelievable. The Department of Justice is investigating the Portland Police Department in Oregon days after a conservative influencer was arrested amid a federal crime crackdown in the city. Notice the language. He's a journalist. Harmeet Dillon, the DOJ's Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, writes, quote, signed, sealed, and delivered in a letter to Portland police about the investigation on Friday, according to her post from an X account. In a separate post, Dillon said she spoke with Nick Sorter, the influencer who was arrested outside an Immigrations and Customs Enforcement facility on Thursday. She also said she talked to Attorney General Pam Bondi, quote, about what has happened in Portland and the urgent need for a federal civil rights investigation. Portland is already under a failed consent decree for its failed police practices, Dillon said. It has been for over a decade now. And I found this really interesting. The consent decree. What is the consent decree and why has it been violated? Turns out this consent decree is what's responsible for all of the chaos going all the way back to 2020 and even before. Grok writes, the Portland failed consent decree refers to the settlement agreement in the case United States versus City of Portland, which stemmed from a 2012 lawsuit filed by the U.S. DOJ against the City of Portland. The DOJ alleged that the Portland Police Bureau, the PPB, engaged in a pattern of unconstitutional excessive force, particularly against the individuals with actual or perceived mental illness, violating the 4th and 14th Amendments. This followed an 18-month investigation triggered by multiple high-profile deaths involving PPB officers and people in mental health crises, such as James Choss and Aaron Campbell. Now, when does this take place? 2012 and before? From cases in 2006 and 2010? Who was the president at this time? The agreement approved by a federal judge in 2014 included over 180 provisions aimed at reforming PPB over a 5-year period. Key areas covered use of force policies, crisis intervention training, interactions with those in mental health or addiction crises, officer accountability, supervision, misconduct investigations, transparency, and community engagement. It required, this is where it gets good, hiring a compliance officer, forming oversight boards, like the Community Oversight Advisory Board, later replaced by the Portland Committee on Community Engaged Policing and funding reforms through a local tax. Amendments in 2017 and 2018 adjusted elements like use of force data collection and officer interview timelines. The entire Portland Police Bureau was corrupted by these leftist Obama-era policies. And now we're reaping the consequences. The entire West Coast has been compromised, and it's because of things like this. And I would not be surprised to learn that these sort of consent decrees have been carried out in police departments in blue cities all across the country. Just start arresting people. That's what they would do to us. That's what they did do to us in the last 4 years. This is the culmination of all of the government corruption that started at least during Obama and probably before. It was put on pause when Trump was elected in 2016 for some strange reason, or maybe it wasn't. And then it was nearly solidified in the last 4 years we suffered under Joe Biden. Now Trump is desperately trying to reverse it and repair it. And what happens? A federal judge comes out and tries to block him from using the National Guard in Portland, from the New York Post. Go away with your pop-ups! Federal judge blocks Trump admin from sending troops to Portland as feds unleash mace and tear gas on anti-ICE agitators. A federal judge in Oregon temporarily blocked the Trump administration's plan to deploy hundreds of National Guard troops to Portland. The same day federal agents unleashed tear gas and mace on anti-ICE agitators, get this, after more than 100 straight days of unrest. U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut, an appropriate name, ruled Saturday that deploying active duty troops to secure the, quote, war-ravaged Oregon City would violate the U.S. Constitution and federal law, barring military involvement in domestic law enforcement. Now, here's the interesting part. If you're reading along on the streaming video, you might have noticed that I left out a part of the first sentence in that paragraph. U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut, a Trump nominee. Karen Immergut was appointed by Donald Trump. I think this sets the stage for the Insurrection Act. If federal judges are going to cite the law and block the things that Donald Trump is trying to do outside of the Insurrection Act, what choice does he have? And what happens if he does that? Arrest them all. How can you not? Arrest this judge especially. How far? I mean, unless we have some secret behind the scenes plan where Trump is telling this judge, block me, I'm gonna use this as precedent to do something else, invoke the Insurrection Act. I don't know if I like that. I would rather just arrest everybody. I mean, how far do you have to reach legally to accuse a federal judge of providing aid and comfort to our enemies when they hand down these presumably illegal rulings? According to the Supreme Court. Just arrest him.
Arrest him. Arrest him.
Arrest him!
Please arrest him. Simon says arrest him.
Ah, little comedy break from Ace Ventura. Arrest him. Arrest all of them. Just do it. They'd arrest us. Arrest them all, throw them in jail. Let the courts sort it out. Let the process be the punishment, as they've done to all of us. Eric Doherty writes on X, just in, Stephen Miller in Memphis for the federal surge. Let's watch the video once I get my act together and share the screen for you.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is
we played this last week.
All of government.
We played this last week. This is false advertising. I was misled. I was misled into believing that was, nope, that's the same video. Damn it! This is the one I wanted to play. From a Memphis resident himself, who travels a lot, and was remarking on the changes in the city since he's been gone.
Just got back from Memphis. When I tell you, Memphis is a totally different place right now. For real. I did not know that President Trump was sending them guys down there. And when I say it's police everywhere, for real though, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Because I go down there and drop off a load at the hospital. You know, you see your normal scragglies, whatever. You know what I mean?
Scragglies.
Hospital, I don't know why hospital's always a place where they won't hang out at, but it is what it is. But traffic was different. Police is on every corner. I'm like, yo, I'm thinking that they was going to send them guys to Chicago. I know. See, I don't go to Chicago, so I wouldn't know that anyway. But boy, Memphis, boy, I know they people's like, yes, crime has slowed down. I mean, it look like a totally different city right now. The vibes are different. I don't know. I guess it's just me, man. But Memphis changing for the good, y'all. As they should. The people need that, though. The people need to stop all this riffraff and all this craziness these young kids got going on, man. Scared to leave your house, scared to go to the grocery store, scared to go to the gas station. One time, I wouldn't even go to certain gas stations if I see too many of them out there. For real, I keep it pushing. I wouldn't give a damn if I'm about to run out of gas. I'm going to keep it pushing. So right now, it's a totally different breed down there right now. Boy, I mean,
the Democrats did this. I mean, I hate to sound like Bill Maher. He loves to blame the Democrats for all of these things that Trump is doing because they went out of control. It was all plans. It's all part of the controlled demolition of the country, funded by our enemies, facilitated through stolen elections. Trump needs to get into Minnesota next because, I mean, Minnesota is so corrupt. It's almost like a different country. Wall Street apes, writes on X. It's all coming out. We just figured out how Minnesota has been taken over by Muslims. And he shares this video.
Since September 19th, officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
That's 50% of Minnesota immigrants that DHS discovered through this Operation Twin Shields, working in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Do you think it's only going on in Minnesota? Certainly not. And it's being, I said, pause. It's being encouraged, facilitated, and protected by people like Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Minnesota.
And so the idea that this is a white nation that needs to be preserved is a fascinatingly disgusting view, because this country is one for the many. And so
when Donald Trump, please listen, share this, get this to Donald Trump, people. When you start arresting congressmen, start with this one. She is the rot that is overcoming our system. She is a large cog in the machine that is responsible for our downfall. And this is how they're doing it. Real Robert shares on X a whistleblower from the Social Security Administration. Nope, not sharing. I don't think it's sharing. No, come on. I have to click so many times, you guys. This mouse. Really what it is, if I may just complain about my components, is my Mac doesn't like my non-Mac mouse, even though you're supposed to just be able to plug them in and use them. This is one of the extremely benevolent things that Mac has done for we consumers. Allowed us to just plug any USB mouse into their computer and use it as needed. Yeah, that's not really the case. Works like shit. Social Security whistleblower. Here we go.
Wanted us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like a refugee to me. Just being honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's planning on staying here.
Yeah,
A refugee
right.
stays until the problem's over and then goes home.
Well, that's right. And so they instructed us to try to identify, to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients. They're
called clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure.
See?
Sure. I'm starting
And
to
so-
see where this is leading. Here.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Wait. So let me get this straight. Part of the screening is supposed to be, are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever?
Right.
No. Okay, good. You can come in.
Yeah.
You get on the airplane. Are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever? Yes. Good. So we can give you disability.
Correct.
What?
Yes.
This is insanity.
Yes, it is insanity.
But in order to get Social Security disability benefits, don't you need a Social Security number?
Well, we were instructed in the meeting that one of the first things we were supposed to do was sign them up for Social Security. Yeah.
Wait. This is unbelievable. So they come over here and they get a Social Security number.
Right.
They become legal.
Correct.
Are you pulling my leg?
No, I'm not. And then after we processed them for a Social Security card, then we were to process them for a U.S. passport.
No, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's about the time I kind of decided, okay, I was done. I've heard everything I want to know. I was so angry about this, that they would receive a U.S. passport. It just, You know, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we were giving these people Social Security cards and U.S. passports and free medical, free housing, free food, free everything.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me, because the food we can recoup from, and the money irritates me, but we can earn it back and we can stop the program or whatever it is. But once you give somebody a Social Security number and you give them what's considered globally the golden ticket, which is a U.S. passport,
right?
That is beyond comprehension that we're doing this.
That's right.
Do bureaucrats know this is happening?
Well, interestingly enough, no, they don't. A lot of governors are unaware of how many refugees have come into their state, where they're located, under what conditions they've arrived. And I believe this is intentional. I believe this is intentional. Now, we do know that the governor of Texas and the governor of Tennessee have both stopped this, and they're refusing to take any more refugees. In fact, the federal government has filed a lawsuit against both of those states because they're refusing to take any more refugees.
How dare you keep your people safe?
Right.
But okay, so let's just say all the states are saying we want to pull out of this refugee resettlement program from the federal government. Then they're fine, right? There's no other way the refugees are getting in?
Well, no. The state can assert that they no longer want to receive refugees, and then the federal government says, all right. And so then they start implementing a program called the Wilson Fish program. And Wilson Fish simply bypasses the sovereignty of that state. In other words, the state no longer processes the refugees. That means, in plain English, you no longer get to know how many are coming in, when they're coming in, where they're going, how much money is being spent on them, whether they're diseased or not diseased. You've lost all control over the entire situation. And
what about if they're voting? Do we get to know if they're voting? Do you think they're not voting, honestly? You believe that? They're being signed up for all of these other things? Oh, but they're not being registered to vote. Don't worry. Arrest them. Arrest all of them. Arrest everyone involved with everything and play the game. Play the justice game. Who are you working for? What have you been up to? Arrest them and audit their finances. See where their money is coming from. Audit their communications. Find out who they were talking to. Make them turn on each other. Make them sell each other out. And if they don't, leave them locked up. What's your suggestion? What is a more nonviolent solution to this problem than that? Isn't it worth it to you? Maybe we violate some people's constitutional rights a little bit for a little while. I'm not talking about setting precedent to move forward. I'm talking about designating these people as what they are, which is enemies of the United States. Throw them all out. Fire them, arrest them, imprison them. Until the issue is resolved. Some people are saying this is why the government has been shut down, to stop the investigations, to stop the exposition of the things that this whistleblower is pointing to. But what, is it going to stay shut down forever? I mean, it's such a perfect Democrat plan. One that doesn't actually solve anything and just serves to slow down the process. Did you know that Ronnie Chang was on The Daily Show? I think his best, maybe his best or most well-known work is Crazy Rich Asians. I came across his video explaining the government shutdown, and I thought, Ronnie Chang, how did he get on The Daily Show? I learned he's a senior correspondent, and he was given the opportunity to present this explanation of the government shutdown, and it's a lot less woke than you might think.
For the Republicans and Democrats, the most important part of the shutdown is coming together and blaming the other side for it. President Trump has been posting AI videos of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. And now, unfortunately, Democrats are hitting back with their own videos.
It's midnight. The Republican shutdown has just begun.
Can you see me? Well, of course you can't, because the Republicans turned the lights off.
Open the door, Mr. Speaker. Open the doors of Congress, Mr. Speaker.
Republicans, hello. Republicans. No Republicans on the train. Hello, Republicans. Have you seen any Republicans? No Republicans here.
No Republicans here because they all died from secondhand embarrassment. Look, Democrats aren't as good at video content as they are at sending emails asking for money. So, I don't know, let's try something else.
Yesterday, Democrats posted a Kitty Explains meme blaming the GOP for the shutdown.
Democrat kitties want you to have health care. Republican kitties do not.
Wow, that was also not good, but...
So the blame game has been going back and forth on who's responsible for shutting down the government. Mike Johnson lays it out pretty well here in this video. And I mean, fact check true. I can't find any alternate explanation to what's actually going on. Chad Prather shared this video from CNBC on X.
We filed a 24-page clean CR. They filed a dirty CR as a kind of proposal included in it, and they brought this up at the meeting yesterday. They want to restore taxpayer-funded benefits, American taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens, okay? We're not doing that. We got rid of that in our One Big Beautiful Bill. We're not going back to that policy. This was a big issue in the election last fall. American taxpayers are not supposed to fund people who break the law coming into the country illegally. They're demanding that as a condition of their votes. They also want to gut the $50 billion that we included in our legislation, have already passed, signed into law, to protect rural hospitals. They want to claw that money back inexplicably. They want to give the Corporation for Public Broadcasting $500 million, $500 million, to prop up these left-leaning media organizations that we defunded. I don't think, and the American people don't think, that taxpayers should be funding that in the age of, ubiquitous media coverage and so many options. So all these things that they're trying to cram into a very simple, remember the terms of this, 7 weeks. We're only buying until November 21st, again, to allow the appropriations process to continue. And I think this is very important. We've talked about this on the program before. I've been trying very hard since I became Speaker 2 years ago to force the Congress back into the regular appropriations process. And why is that so important? Because that's how you act as a good steward of the precious resources of American taxpayers.
But they say no. They say, no, we're going to shut the government down unless we get more globalist policies. Isn't that interesting? They want to defund rural hospitals. Why? Because they want to force us all into these densely populated 15-minute smart cities. And they're going to do this by taking away the services that we have in our rural neighborhoods. They're making us less safe. They're making us less healthy. They're making us poor. And this is all part of their globalist agenda. JD Vance also weighed in on Fox News after the government shutdown took effect.
Yeah, so this is a Democrat talking point. They say we're not actually trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens, and here's why it's not true. There are 2 Biden-era programs that explicitly gave the taxpayer health care money to illegal aliens that we turned off when President Trump took over in January. Program number 1 is there's a lot of emergency health care at hospitals that are provided to illegal aliens. That was funded by the federal government. We turned off that funding because, of course, we want American citizens to benefit from those hospital services.
And the people that don't want the Americans to benefit from these services, are using these health benefits to lure immigrants from communist countries to our country to change the voting demographic.
Not to be taxed and then to have those hospital services go to illegal aliens.
This is why the healthcare industry hates the Trump administration. Because all of that healthcare that they were giving to hospitals, or all that healthcare that hospitals were giving to illegal immigrants, who then didn't pay their emergency room bill, well, that was all getting paid for with your tax dollars. Providing free healthcare for all intents and purposes, because everybody knows you can go to the ER and be treated without having to pay anything. And then those hospitals turn around and say, hey, government, because of your broken immigration policies, we have massive unpaid ER bills. What are you going to do about it? Joe Biden says, oh, here's the money. Here you go. And the healthcare industrial complex says, yay, thank you very much, Mr. Biden. What an economic boon this is for us. The Trump administration says, oh, well, no more money. You better stop giving them health care because we're not paying for it. If you're giving health care to people that can't pay the bill, that's on you. That's not on the U.S. government. That's not on the United States taxpayers, because that's common sense. That's good for Americans. Eric Doherty, again, great source of content on X. I advise you follow him at Eric L. Daw. He writes, breaking, Carolyn Leavitt, Trump's press secretary, just confirmed the Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought, is being unleashed on federal agencies, quote, that may need to be halted or permanently cut. Let's watch her appearance on Fox News.
Fix this problem. And look, we have $0 coming into the federal government right now because the Democrats shut it down. So what Russ Vought is working diligently on is examining how we can fix this mess to ensure that critical funding continues, that we can get people paid. But the Democrats are making that very difficult. And that's why the president put out a statement this morning saying that we're going to start looking across the board at layoffs and at agencies that we feel do not best serve the American taxpayer, that may need to be halted or permanently cut.
So on that, I wanted to ask you about that because he mentioned Russ Vought in that. I think that came out about 8 o'clock this morning about cutting certain programs that they deem are not necessary. Is that real or is that a negotiating tactic?
Oh, it's very real. And the Democrats should know that they put the White House and the president in this position. And if they don't want further harm on their constituents back home, then they need to reopen the government. It's very simple. Pass the clean continuing resolution, and all of this goes away. We would not be having these discussions here at the White House today if not for the Democrats voting to shut the government down. This is an unfortunate consequence, and the president and Russ Vought will be meeting on that later today.
I guess it's Russ Vought is how it's pronounced. But Trump has taken action against these obstructionist Democrats by freezing federal infrastructure projects in their cities, withholding billions of dollars because they've decided that they want to work for globalists, for corporations, for illegal immigrants, instead of the Americans that voted for them. So what do they want? How are they able to keep this shut down? Well, Senator John Kennedy, went onto the floor to expose the radical things the Democrats are demanding, which is exactly what's keeping the government closed. Let's listen.
Basically, President Trump just said, we want you to take some stuff out of the budget that we think is wasteful. And we did. And that upset the Congresswoman. She's entitled to be upset if she wants to. But that really upset the socialist wing of the party. And so we took out, and here's what they want us to put back in. We found that under President Biden, they were spending $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. We took that out. The Congresswoman says, we're going to shut down government till you put that back in. We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez in the socialist wing, the loon wing of the Democratic Party, says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in. I'll just read you a few more that we took out. They are demanding we put back in. $6 million for media organizations for the Palestinians. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $882,000 for social media and mentorship in Serbia. $4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we got to put that back in for the open government. $4.2 million for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here. We took all that out. It upset Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. It upset the socialist wing of her party. And now that wing of her party and the Congresswoman are threatening all other Democrats and saying, you've got to shut that government down until we get what we want. And part of what they want is to add this kind of stuff back into the bill.
And why do they want to add it back into the bill? I mean, can you think of any reason that isn't because they are effectively able to launder that money back to themselves through NGOs that will donate to their election campaigns? Can you think of a more likely reason? Let me know in the comments or something. But it will open back up. They sensationalize because they want public pressure to make the Republicans cave. But it's not really that big of a deal. It's inconvenient for some people, and I feel for them. But when the government opens again, it will all be made right with back pay, etc. But don't expect anyone else to tell you that. Not anyone that's on the left or even in the mainstream media. Chuck Schumer will just go on C-SPAN and lie to you.
The first full day of Donald Trump's government shutdown. Donald Trump and Republicans have barreled us into a shutdown because they refuse to protect Americans' health care. It's clear.
Americans' health care. Right? That's what he's calling it.
That the way out of this shutdown is to sit down and negotiate with Democrats to address the looming healthcare crisis that faces tens of millions of American families. Democrats want to avert this crisis, but Republicans tried to bully us, and it's clear they can't. They don't have the votes. The way out of this is for Republicans to finally roll up their sleeves and get to work. Republicans need to get serious and start actually addressing the looming crisis and reopen the government. Now, why has all of this happened? Why are we here in October?
I hate this because it feels like Chuck, he's given these little grins and kind of side-eyeing people that you can't see somewhere else in the chamber. Making it feel performative. Making it feel like he's just there to keep up appearances. So good, shut it down. Shut it all down and never open it again for all I care. Also, when can I expect my tax rebate? If these people aren't coming to work, I'm not paying them. Why should I? Why should any of us? When they're going to stand firm on their foreign funding in the name of keeping our government closed down. Make it make sense. Arrest them too. And arrest all the CEOs at AT&T, for that matter. This is your weekly target for boycott. I already quit my AT&T membership. And it's for things exactly like this. Actually, I think it was like $250 a month, so. We quit AT&T and signed up with Pure Talk, which works on the AT&T network. And it's been okay. I give it a solid B in terms of service. But I was made glad that I gave up AT&T a long time ago when this was released from the Select Subcommittee on January 6th, posted to their X accounts on October 1st. They write, despite the FBI sending AT&T a preservation request to help identify the person who planted the pipe bombs that you may have heard so much about regarding the January 6th saga, an AT&T employee told the FBI that the data from 1/5, January 5th, the day before, was corrupted. AT&T later responded and said the server was overloaded due to the large quantity of data being pulled. And they responded in an email to this request with one line. The data for January 5th was corrupted and cannot be restored. All we have is the 6th. And it's your fault because you were asking for so much. Arrest them too. It's time to stop playing games. It's time to get mean. It's time to get crazy. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm not going to let these people take over my country. I don't consent to a peaceful divorce. I will not cede territory to them. I am fully in favor of using all of the power that we hold as real Americans with the government that we elected to take these people down. In the same style that they would take us down if the roles were reversed. And maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be a horrific tragedy. We'll become a one party. We'll be under one party rule from the right. It'll be actually fascist. I'm ready. Let's see. Let's take the plunge and see what happens. We got 3 years left. We got 3 years to right the ship, remove the corruption, and get back to being a constitutional republic. And I'm a little bit concerned that maybe that means we have to stop being a constitutional republic for a little while. And I don't have a lot of trust in government. I don't have a lot of trust that if that does happen, we return to being the constitutional republic of old. But we can't let the evil people take control of our country. And I think that there is massive public support for the things that are going on in Portland and Memphis and Chicago and Washington, D.C. Because this is what we all voted for. And I think it's what we need. And it's scary. I agree. It is not a good feeling to think that we might have to suspend our governing documents to arrest these fraudulently elected politicians funded by foreign governments and instructed explicitly to facilitate the downfall of our country. But that's what we're up against. So what are you willing to do to correct the problem? Let me know in the comments. Follow me at earthvox on X. That's where I am the most active. You can also hit me up on Discord. I'm at earthvox. There, I am earthvox everywhere. PlayStation Network, Steam. Reach out to me. Hit me up. Tell me what you think. You can send an email to the real earthvox at protonmail.com. And let me know how you feel about things. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you want to happen next? We'll be back here again next Sunday at 11 a.m. Tune in. I'm sure there will be more exciting developments. And as always, you can leave me a voicemail at 701-787-1121. I'll be back.